This agenda is designed to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by City Council. The mayor will ask if a citizen or council member wishes to have a specific item removed from the consent agenda for discussion. Either the public or a council member may request an item be removed from the consent agenda at this time prior to the council's vote. Approval of the work session and regular meeting minutes for March 9th, 2021. B, approval of expenditure vouchers for March 23rd, 2021. C, approval of a renewal retail marijuana store license for Organics Durango LLC, DBA Durango Organics, located at 1104 East Main Street, Cortez. D, approval of the safety plan to reopen city chambers.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Huckins. Aye. Medina. Aye. Lucero.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Yazzie. Aye. Dobry.
Aye.
Slayton.
Aye. Thank you. See, we'll do the safety plan to reopen council chambers.
That was part of the consent agenda.
That's, yeah, okay.
We're gonna pause for a moment while we allow people
Okay, right,
to.
yeah. We're going to pause to allow people to enter the chambers. The time is now 7:38. Yeah.
Should we do the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay.
We'll wait till people are in.
First.
That should be approved.
Have you seen any of the proposed changes for dial 3.0?
Okay.
Yeah. How you doing?
Good. David, okay. What are you doing? Hanging in there? Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Of course. Mr. Master, how are you, Mike? Well, yourself?
Good, very good.
Hey, Linda.
Is there more people coming in?
I don't know. I think there was one person in the car behind me. That's her. I don't know.
Okay, do I have time to run to the restroom? I can make it quick.
I hooked them on my glasses just now because I was getting finished.
Yeah, all the handmade ones, when I worked at Access, like I had to make headbands to put over like some different sewed buttons on them, and I could have these like wrap on the buttons. So I just get massive headaches. How are you feeling? You've been on council for a while. Yeah. Like, he came kind of towards the end of the most challenging part of this last year. Hopefully it doesn't. It probably will. Oh, here. See that thing? You should use it.
Oh, that makes sense. I don't have one.
One's in front of the company. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, so your business first. Okay. Better efficiency.
There's one more.
One.
Sorry to pull that audible on the pledge. It just feels like it makes more sense to do it once people are here.
Yeah. Pledges. We should have a community involved.
Yeah.
Good evening. We return to the Cortez City Council regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, March 23rd, 2021, 7:30 p.m. This is a hybrid meeting in person and virtual contact through Zoom. We've already read the consent agenda and are going to do the Pledge of Allegiance now. If you'd stand, recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good evening. We're going to have citizen participation soon, but I'd just like to pause for a moment and reflect on the happenings of the last couple days in Boulder, Colorado. There's fatalities in a supermarket. It's a terrible tragedy. And I'd like to remember the Boulder police officer, Eric Talley. I'd like to have a moment of silence in remembrance of one of our fallen devoted policemen. Thank you. We'd like to remember the other 9 victims and their families, this terrible tragedy. Okay, citizen participation. Each citizen or 6 citizens will be allotted time to address council, and remaining public comments will be allotted under agenda item 9. No member of the public shall comment more than once at any meeting, nor shall any person be ceded the time to another person. Comments may be limited to 4 minutes per person. Please comment on items not listed as public hearing. Council may or may not respond to comments. I call the first participant. Go ahead to the microphone, please. State your name and address. Introduce yourself.
Justin Bastrop, 2527 Trinity Avenue. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Councilors Medina, Yazzie, Huckins, Lucero, Rainey, and Dobry. The burden of city leadership is almost literally thankless. So I would like to thank all of you.
Thank you all for showing up to do the work of government. It is my experience that almost all of us in this town are salty mavericks and rugged individuals. We value our independence, and like you, most of us have some firmly held beliefs, and for good reasons. You have your work cut out for you. Meetings have been pretty tough on you all for a while. You're wrestling with topics the whole nation is wrestling with, and it is not obvious with any amount of honest certainty what the right thing to do is. That is a heck of a position to be in. There seems to be strong arguments on every side of an issue these days. I hope you each find some internal conflict when weighing such issues. It reassures me that you have not fallen into any ideological holes. Things have been tough, and they may get tougher. I've been binge watching city council meetings gone wrong on YouTube from all over the country, and it makes me proud of each of you up there. We are lucky to have your level heads at the wheel. It is horrifying to see some of these other councils operate. We, the people of Cortez, made some very good decisions when we voted you all into office, so do not get discouraged. Though it can be challenging, please continue to do your best to keep an open mind, even though I may be up here next meeting sounding pretty close-minded. I would like to thank our city attorney, Mr. Green, for reminding us all that it is unproductive to confuse the public comment portion of our meetings with a free-form Q&A session. I completely agree with Mr. Green. However, you may find some use in addressing some public concern at the end of the public comment section, and in doing so, avoid a toxic back and forth or a perception of a deaf council. As a citizen and a voter, I expect you all to be present in some way. I expect you to let me speak my mind. I expect to be heard by you. I have no doubt you all will listen to what I have to say, and that you will all weigh my concerns along with the concerns of others for the common good and future of our city. I did not vote for anyone to do my bidding. I cast my vote for your character, not your ideological alignment. Please continue to consider our concerns, even though it may seem like we are being inconsiderate of you. Please do not get discouraged when supporting voices are few and dissenting voices feel like the only voices that exist. Many of us voted for you to clock in so that we do not have to. We expect your due diligence, and that is why many of your supporters will not be seen in these chambers. We trust you to guide the city without feeling the need to shout behind your ear and grab at the wheel while you are driving. I thank each of you for your patience with the process, your submission to it, and your service to the city. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Matheson. Welcome words. We have another participant. Would you like to go up to the podium and state your name and address, please?
Check Zoom.
Yeah,
We
we've
have
got hands on.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. There's Zoom attendance.
We've got Tiffany first.
Okay, Tiffany Gear, go ahead and speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to address the council and continuing to legitimately respond to emails. I'd like to remind our city council that you are held to the Colorado State Statutes 24, Article 18, and the Colorado Constitution, as well as the United States Constitution. I'd like to bring up a reminder of the Sunshine Law. Any meetings of 2 or more members of any state public body where any public business is discussed must be open to the public. If violated, state courts have the jurisdiction to enforce the Colorado Sunshine Law for open meetings. This law requires transparency and disclosure in government and makes meetings, records, votes, deliberation, and official actions available to the public for observation, participation, and inspection. Also states that public has the right to public comment before official action is taken. This law prohibits public officials from holding official meetings that are closed to the public. Under executive session, mandates must be taken. Citation of discussion and electronic recording must be had. Citation to authorizing legal advice requires 2/3 vote of all members to executive session. I would also like to thank you guys for opening it up to the public. And I am asking, I send in pointed emails and I have not gotten a single response from any council member. Transparency is all we're asking for. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next person, Linda Nielsen, go ahead. Linda.
Good evening, council. I would like to bring, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Could you state your address too, please?
Wrote in, Mindy Nelson wrote in. I would like to bring up a conversation on January 12th, aligning a retreat for hiring a mediator at a minimum of $100 an hour, coming in for work session, accomplishing together a forum as a group on team building, getting alignment and shared goals as a council. You spoke on, if it was to be held outside, you would be spending money on food and heaters that would be paid by taxpayers' funds. John Doherty mentioned it could be held at a large room in Mancus at no cost. Mayor Levy spoke on not wanting a large crowd. Once again, sounds like you want silence we the people. David Rainey was also in agreement with not wanting a large crowd and was concerned about the ventilation with the building in which it would be held. Not one mention of being concerned of the people. It is now suggested that we the people planning start over with the two public comment meetings for the master street plan, as this has gone against the sunshine law. The retreat meeting also went against the sunshine law on February 20th and is very important master street plan public comment meeting coming together of a future of the city of Cortez was overlapped with both of them being held by the local government body that meets to discuss public business that is open to the public. Then you have the safety measures that was published without a vote that also goes against the sunshine law. Now we have once again gone against the sunshine law, posting changes in the meeting less than 24 hours. A meeting notice must be posted in a designated public place within boundaries of the local public body no less than 24 hours prior to the holding of a meeting. And as of April 4th, the state will go to color green. Why don't we go ahead and just open up the chambers that you are proposing guidelines for blue? Why not just apply the green to it? And I really thank you for all your services and your efforts.
Thank you very much for your comments. Next person, Sherry Simmons. Go ahead, Sherry.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. On March,
State your address too,
oh, I'm
Sherry.
sorry. Yeah, Sherry Simmons. I live on Road 20 in Lewis, Colorado. On March 17th, the council posted the safety measures to open up to the public. I emailed all the council members, the mayor and the city manager requesting clarification on when these rules were discussed and formed and agreed upon. Not one council member had the courtesy to respond to me, not one. I did receive an email response from the city manager and I appreciate that. In his email, he read, "At the retreat, I asked for clarification on the motion and the council gave me direction, but you are right, they did not vote on it. The agenda for March 23rd has been amended to approve the rules." He also wrote, "I guess I'll have to find out before Tuesday night on what time I can open the doors to the public." On March 12th, the council posted notice of the retreat to be held on March 16th. Let me read part of this notice. No decisions will be made during the retreat. So my question is, if the council decided on these rules to reopen during the retreat, why was there a public post saying that there would be no decisions made at the retreat? Where's the transparency? The Colorado Sunshine Law of notice a requirement, and I will read it. A meeting notice must be posted in a designated public place within the boundaries of local public body, no less than 24 hours prior to holding a meeting. The notice for allowing the public to enter being changed from 5:15 to 7:45 was not posted until approximately 11:30 this morning. I find this disrespectful to the community. I know the notice for the change of the public access should have been first and foremost and rise above all the other notices. Not only is this a violation of the Colorado Sunshine Law, it's disrespectful to the people. My email stated to the city manager that we had alerted the council in their error and that we're going outside the boundaries of policy. And this was on Friday. And the council put the people's last by posting the public access notice only hours before the scheduled meeting. With these violations, I formally state that all the actions after this, of these failures, should be void. Not following the law and policies before you begin a meeting should make all the decisions and actions null and void and vacant of any legal standing. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments? Anyone on the floor wishing to make a comment? Okay. Next item on the agenda is public hearings, ordinance number 1286, series 2021. City Attorney Mike Green and Chief of Police Vern Knuckles. Go ahead, sirs.
This is second, I'm sorry, this is first reading. No, this is second reading of the Exxon Enterprise Ordinance.
First reading.
Well, that's what I'm,
Oh,
the agenda says first reading. This is the second reading and public hearing of the Anna ordinance authorizing the purchase over time of services and or goods from the Anna company. It would be for cloud storage services on that. It would be for tasers and chest cams and management and warranty and those kind of things. We need to hold a public hearing. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance on second reading and passage. And I apologize for that it's in first reading through me. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to say.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay.
Mike, you have to open it to public hearing.
Yeah, open this up to public hearing. Are there any comments from the public? Seeing none, move to the next item. There's no unfinished.
I'll make a motion that we approve on second reading ordinance number 1286, series 2021, regarding the purchase of items from Axon Enterprise Inc. as set for public hearing. Well, we just did the public hearing. We don't have to do that second part.
Sorry.
So council will consider. I make a motion that we approve on second reading ordinance number 1286, series 2021, regarding the purchase of items from Axon Enterprise Inc.
Second.
Thank you. Sorry for that mistake. Yossi? Aye. Jobri?
Aye.
Lucero?
Aye.
Medina?
aye.
Rainey?
Aye.
Clayton?
Aye. Thank you. There's no unfinished business. Under new business, first item is a quasi judicial item, set public hearing date and neighborhood boundaries for review of a new retail fermented malt beverage off premises liquor license for Esmeralda's Ranchito Mexican Store. City Clerk Linda Smith, City Attorney Mike Green.
This is sort of making history. This is our first license of this type.
Yes, Esmeralda Estrada, she owns the restaurant, well, it's not really a restaurant, the store that she sells tamales out of at the Y down across from the Maverick store. She's going to get, she's requesting new fermented malt beverage off premise of her license. Similar to what the Maverick does, but when the Maverick got their license, it was called a 3-2 license. That no longer is a liquor license that you can apply for. So she has completed the individual history record, the paperwork required, the fingerprints have also been completed already for her. She is just requesting that we set a public hearing for this request and that the neighborhood boundaries be set for the canvassing that we do for liquor licensing. So staff recommends approval to move this forward to April 13th for a public hearing.
Thank you. Are there any comments? Questions? Your motion on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to set a public hearing date for April 13th, 2021. And the neighborhood boundaries as the city limits for review of a new retail fermented malt beverage off premises liquor license for Esmeralda's Ranchito Mexican Store.
Second.
We have to say the last part.
Yes, please.
Okay, located at 2501 East Main Street.
And second by Dobry.
Aye.
Huckins. Lucero.
Aye.
Greeny.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Medina. Lady.
Aye. Thank you. Next item is an intergovernmental agreement with the Montezuma County Clerk for election. City Clerk Linda Smith, please.
Yes, this is the last part of our process, council, on setting the election for June 8th, the special election. To take the question to our community about the telecommunications process. That of course isn't, as you guys remember from the question, isn't setting you to any kind of commitment on spending money, but it's just to ask the citizens about, the telecommunication process to move forward for the city. This part is the agreement with the county clerk to process the paperwork, and that has to be done to count our ballots on election day. I know many of you would like to have seen that process when we ran for election. Hopefully we're going to be able to offer that process to you this time so that you can see that part of how that works. We're hoping that we can have time for you to go in and see how the equipment works and bring the ballots. So this part is just setting that piece that the county does that helps us with that process. So staff recommends approval, and if you have any questions, let me know.
Questions, Orly?
I'll just say, I think
No,
we have,
I don't have any.
Thank you.
this is Medina. I just think we have a great relationship with the county, and I appreciate the coordination you guys do with elections. And so thank you to the county, to Kim and to Linda.
We're very lucky to have this relationship. A lot of communities don't have what we have, and I couldn't thank Kim enough for what she does to help us.
Thank you all very much. Any other discussion on this? Could I hear a motion on this item, please?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement with the Montezuma County Clerk outlining the duties for the June 8th, 2021 special election.
Greeny.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye.
Huckins. Yazzie. Dobry.
Aye.
Lady. Thank you.
Yes. Next item is fertilizer and chemical bid. Director of Parks and Recreation, Dean Conquest.
Yes, good evening, City Council. The Parks, Recreation and Department bids out its fertilizer and chemical product needs for the parks and golf course maintenance divisions in one combined bid. Each fertilizer and chemical item is bid out separately to get the best overall price. The golf course maintenance division has a fertilizer and chemical bid, which includes granular and liquid fertilizer, herbicide, and liquid growth regulator for the greens. The bids were opened up on Tuesday, February 23rd, with 4 companies submitting bid proposals. Harrell's, Van D Supply, Target Specialty, and Horizon had the lowest bids for the specified fertilizer and chemical products. And hopefully you had a chance, council, to look over the comparison sheets. Some of the companies furnished substitute products for the bid items and were rejected for not meeting the bid specifications and may show a lower price on the bid comparison sheet. But in talking to my golf course superintendent, that those products would not meet the standard of what we want on the course. So that's why some of those bids then were rejected. Also, Harrell's and Van D Supply had an identical low price for the large granular fertilizer bid, and that order will be split 50-50 and awarded to both low bidders upon council approval. So they were contacted and they were able to hold their price, even though they will would each be selling a lower quantity, but they kept the same price. The total bid amount is $30,303.49, including Harrell's for $13,094.15, Van D Supply for $11,410.64, Target Specialty for $3,394.70, and Horizon for $2,404. The golf course maintenance division portion is $21,317.59, and the fertilizer budget allows for $20,000 and would be $1,317.59 over budget, with the remaining amount coming from the operating supplies budget, which had $21,500. Originally, we had more in our budget before we had to revise and cut our budget $100,000. So that's one of the things that we cut and reduced down in the revised budget. So that's why that was a little bit lower. The parks maintenance division portion is $8,885.90, and the fertilizer budget allows for $10,000 and would be $1,014.10 under budget. Staff moves to approve the fertilizer and chemical bids. Any questions from the council?
None down here. Worley, do you have any questions?
I don't have any.
Okay, no questions. Thank you, Dean. Any other comments? Okay, can I have a motion on this item, please?
I'll make a motion to award the fertilizer and chemical bid to Harrell's for $13,094.15, Van D Supply for $11,410.64, Target Specialty for $3,394.70, and Horizon for $2,404 even, totaling $30,303.49 for the golf course and parks and maintenance divisions.
Second.
Huggins,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Ozzy, Stover,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Lady.
Aye. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the 2021 subdivision landscape maintenance services bid acceptance for Parks and Recreation Department. Parks and Rec Department, Dean Conquest again.
Yes, thank you, City Council. The Parks and Recreation Department bid out the Brandon's Gate and Rodeo subdivisions landscape maintenance services to see what the actual cost of contracting out that work will be. The landscape maintenance services contractual cost would start being paid by the subdivision residents next year in the arrears, along with the 2021 actual costs for the annual domestic and irrigated water use and metered electricity. Also, the city will look into converting per household charge to a per lot charge for more equitable monthly fees to offset any fee increases. I think we had a pretty good discussion at the council workshop about this. And so again, we, in that bid price, we ended up with, the bids were opened up on Wednesday, March 17th, with 3 companies submitting bid proposals. Sprinkler Pros LLC had the lowest bid of $600 per month for the Brandon Skate subdivision and $300 per month for the Rodeo subdivision landscaping maintenance services. Actual landscape maintenance services cost estimate from the last meeting was in 28 division totaling $8,400. Actual landscape maintenance services bid total was $4,200 for Brandon's Gate, $2,100 for Rodeo division, and $66,300. And the difference between the cost estimate and the bid was $2,100 less than anticipated. If approved, the contract would start on April 5th, 2021 and run through October 29th, 2021. The park maintenance staff will provide any additional landscaping maintenance work outside of the above time period. Again, if we are to pass this cost on to the homeowners, the Brandon Skate subdivision residents, the monthly fee would go from $693, which is $83.16 per year, to $17.67 per month, and that would be $212.04. And the rodeo subdivision residents would see a monthly increase from $6 to $13.90 for $167.10 if it was. If we pass this cost to the lots in these subdivisions, the Brandon Skate law owners would see a monthly fee decrease from $6.90. That'd be again $83.16 to $5.50 per month, which would be $66. And rodeo subdivision lot owners would see a monthly fee increase from $5, which is $60 again per year, to $10.20, and total would be $122.40. And as we discussed in the workshop, that I think there's some research being done to see if, at the rodeo subdivision, if we could.
We lost you.
Mr. Verde, you had an interruption in your service.
Hello.
Go ahead, try to continue.
Video. Can you hear me?
Hey, Dean, would you turn your video off? That may help.
Yeah, that's what I just turned the video off. Can you hear me now?
That's better, thank you.
Yeah. Did you hear the whole presentation, or did I cut off? Hello?
Go ahead, Dean.
Yes, so I guess I was saying that the house, the lots, the big lots at rodeo, if they were to be divided up into household lots, that's still yet to be determined. So right now, these numbers are based off of the actual 30 lots at rodeo. So that is something that, may need to still be researched to see if we can do that. So I guess yes.
Dean, this is Councilman Dobry. I just want to confirm that. So what you're asking us is to approve the bid only. So we would only approve the bid, and any of the cost and the way that it's divided out would be brought to council at a later date. Is that correct?
Yes, that could be very well done. I'm just trying to give some upfront costs, so I think we're aware of what these costs may be down the road. Yes, so that is correct, Council Dobry, that right now we're just asking to approve for a contractual company to do this work.
Okay. Any questions or discussion?
I don't have any.
Okay, can I hear a motion on this item, please?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we, city council, award Gate and Rodeo subdivisions, landscape maintenance services bid to Sprinkler Pros LLC, $600 per month for the Brandon's Gate subdivision and $300 per month for the Rodeo subdivision.
Stover,
Aye.
Hawkins, Lucero,
Nay.
Rainey,
Aye.
Medina,
Aye.
Yazzie, Lady.
Aye. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 1284, series 2021, city attorney Mike Green.
After one of the earlier in the seasons. After one of the earlier in the season snowstorms, council had spoke to at the meeting about snow removal from sidewalks and improving it or making sure it was done. Questions came up. Staff went out to enforce the existing ordinance. And after speaking with them, they came up with a few questions, queries, suggestions for improvement in the ordinance. And so the ordinance was redone. There is, in certain circumstances, which are extremely factual, city liability for slip and falls on sidewalks if there is an, I think it's called an unreasonably dangerous condition, which the city has notice of and it fails to do something. What that is extremely factual and depends on each instance, so I can't give you, if it's this way, yeah, right across the board. And so taking staff's comments about the existing ordinance and its enforcement difficulties. And the state in 3115-702 authorizes municipalities to require the adjacent property owners to shovel the sidewalks. Put this ordinance to get together again with input from the enforcement staff. What we did was there was not a definition of sidewalk. So we took the definition of sidewalk out of the governmental immunity section and put that in. We shortened the time to 12 hours. The other time was 24 hours under one set of conditions, 48 hours under another. And the snow wasn't getting shoveled and it was still there, so we shortened the time. The snow removal appeared to be in the existing ordinance limited to only commercial properties. And so in some of the areas where you have a mix of commercial and residential in the small area downtown, which is the only place this ordinance would get enforced, okay? It's not citywide. We expanded it to all of the properties. So if there's a house in between two commercials, that's not going to be left unshoveled. That should be shoveled. So there's consistent pathways. There was an addition based on noticing some traffic on my own, traveling back and forth to City Hall and following up with staff a little bit. That area from Montezuma South, in between Maple to Harrison, there's a lot of traffic in there. People walking on the sidewalks. The sidewalks aren't always clean. So if you're agreeable, we would add that area to the existing area that is covered under the ordinance. Going along with the concept of jail is maybe something we don't need to do here. These would be progressive fines. $25 for the first time, $50 for the second, $75 for the third. We would be encouraging the judge to jump up in $25 per day per violation. We also, Phil Johnson had volunteered that while we had talked about it before, and I don't think it was when he was with the city, there are some monies available for safe routes through CDOT to develop sidewalks. I think Councilwoman Medina had talked about there not being sidewalks in some place. People had to go out on the street. Phil needs some time to get that implemented, so the ordinance encourages the staff to work on these projects. There's also a possibility that there's some ADA money available, that we may be able to use to make this go. The staff naturally has some mixed reactions to this ordinance. Well, now we gotta go out and enforce it. Is this really appropriate? You know, there's some, this is not 100% supported, but yet it's not all that different than what we have in place that we need to enforce. So I'm that's why it's here for you folks to decide. This does not transfer liability to the adjacent property owner for the sidewalk. The city still retains liability for accidents that occur under the right situations on city sidewalks, but it does recommend, it does pass the, it requires the property owners, adjacent property owners to show the sidewalk. City attorney, me, is recommending passage of this ordinance, and I'm asking you to approve it at first reading and set for a second reading and public hearing on April 12th, 2021. And I think you had the existing ordinance in your packets, and then you had the statute, and then you had this there. So if there's any questions.
I have a question. This is Yasi. Is there a way to cap the amount of fine? Or is that a common thing?
The fines are capped at $499 just by operation of law. That's our maximum fine. How do I want to say this? You need to motivate people to comply with the laws. And so if you tell them that, well, after a certain time, no big deal, we're just going to cap it here. I don't know. We have some people who repeatedly do certain things. And so this is an attempt to to keep that motivation in place. If you want to, we could, but like I say, if somebody is continually violating this, how do we get their attention? So that was why the progressive fine. The judge might also do something else that I have no control over because he's the judge. And I was trying to keep it simple.
Would is there a plan, or would we be noticing all of the properties that this would now apply to that I guess didn't apply before, so that they know that it now applies to them?
Well, that's some of the process you're going through tonight: the publication, the second reading, there'll be notice in the newspaper that this is now a law. And what staff was doing was, hey, your sidewalk needs shoveled, and come back and see if it got shoveled. I don't think we issued any tickets this last snowstorm. There was a lot of good effort. I'm sad to see he's gone. Ours did a real good job of getting compliance on Broadway and some other places, which are extremely difficult given their situations. So I think staff did a good job, and I think they'll continue to do something. Thank you.
Yeah, how many residents homes are out there that are in Main Street? I thought there was usually all businesses.
It's those areas behind Main Street where you might have a house and then two businesses, and on Montezuma where say you've got, I think the one block's got a hair salon, an apartment, a lawyer's office, an eye doctor, and then there's a house or two in the middle. So it's very mixed, Orly, and I don't have an exact count.
Okay, I was just wondering, I was trying to place some. And also, when you said one of the changes was from 24 to 12 hours. Is that what I was trying to read the old ordinance to the new one? Following the last storm?
I'm sorry, sir, could you repeat that?
Yeah, because one of the changes, I think you said, I was trying to read the old one too, is that it changed from 24 hours to 12 hours. Is that what I understood?
Yes, sir. There was two different time frames in the existing ordinance, and one of them talked about 24. And I think that was for natural snowfall. And then there was 48 hours, I think, for removal of snow that had been plowed on the street, on the sidewalk from the street. And that, it didn't make sense when we were talking about enforcement. It left a dangerous condition for a longer period of time on the sidewalks. And so I just suggested 12 and see what council thinks about that.
And I got one more for you. When they shovel everything, it goes into Main Street, correct? So how is the difference of removing the snow from Main Street? I mean, because people park in there, they'll be walking on the snow that everything got plowed in the street. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It's just everything is one straight way of enforcement, which makes it easier to understand and easier to enforce and follow. Every time we talked about this, we had different fact situations, and so that's why it became simpler.
Okay, thanks. That's all I have, Senor Mike.
Any other questions or comments from the council? Can I have a motion on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve on first reading ordinance number 1284, series 2021, regarding snow removal from the sidewalks in the city of Cortez, repealing Cortez City Code, section 24-20, removal of snow and ice in its entirety, and enacting Cortez City Code, section 24-20, removal of snow and ice creation of safe routes, and set a public hearing for April 13th, 2021.
Second.
Medina,
Aye.
Yazzie. Rainey,
Aye.
Overy,
Aye.
Huckins,
Aye.
Lucero,
Nay.
Ramey.
Aye. Thank you. There are no draft resolutions or ordinances, other businesses. The council has decided to return to our executive session, which was not completed. So we're going to pause the council meeting to return to executive session regarding dispatch center contract. I move that we go into executive session for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and/or instructing negotiators under CRS section 24-6-4024E to regarding the dispatch center contract. We will pause this meeting and go into executive session. We will return after
I'm upstairs for bed. Don't care if I'm sleeping. Get me up so you can pop me back.
Okay.
Okay, we're returning to the regular session. The time is now 9:39, and the executive session has been concluded. The participants in this executive session were myself, Michael J. Levy, Rachel Medina, Arlena Yazzie, Amy Huckins, David Rainey, Robert Dobry, Orly Lucero, Mike Green, John Doherty, and Vern Knuckles. For the record, if any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meeting law, would ask that you state your concerns for the record. Seeing none, next item on the agenda is citizen participation, part 2. Are there any other citizens wishing to participate? Okay, seeing none, we'll continue. Is there a city attorney's report?
No, sir.
Okay, city manager report?
No, sir.
Okay. City council, has there been any reports?
I'll do one.
Okay, Rachel?
Okay, this is Councilwoman Medina. I'm gonna give a report on Mesa Verde country. So we met last week on St. Patrick's Day. And just some updates. So the Mesa Verde country has a grant where they're gonna bring out 5 riders who are gonna focus on the mountain biking opportunities in our community. In a normal year, you would have all the riders come at once and kind of enjoy a mini vacation of mountain biking together, but with COVID, they're gonna spread that out, and each of the 5 riders is gonna come separately. So Mesa Verde Country is also looking for volunteers who would wanna take these riders out to certain trails. They're gonna focus on the 3 main mountain biking trails: Phil's World, Boggy, and Sand Canyon, I'm pretty sure. And then they had, so they're also part of the Grand Circle Association. So the Grand Circle is the national parks and kind of the Colorado Plateau area, 4 Corners. And so then the Grand Circle Association has a meeting in different areas every year. And so last weekend, they were here in Cortez. Well, it was the weekend when we had the snowstorm, so that hindered a lot of their plans to go outside, but this reception was good, and they really enjoyed their time in Cortez. And then there's CARES Act coming through the Colorado Tourism Office, and so we talked about ideas on how to use that money. You know, the relocation guide for remote workers, potentially remodeling the Welcome Center, which was going to be done at the beginning of 2020, but was put off because of COVID, and training for frontline workers so that there's a unified message in the service industry on what to do in our community. Yeah, so that's all I have for that.
Mr. Mayor, I have an update from the Parks and Rec Board.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so last Friday we met at 7 a.m. to talk about Parks and Rec stuff. We chatted about the bench shell project, which will be coming up for us to review the location, and provide direction on that. We talked a little bit about COVID updates relating to facilities and programs, and I think notably, he brought up that the rec center is going to be open on Saturdays. I think that was just recently posted on their Facebook page. So yay, Saturdays. There was discussion around the 3rd Street Pocket Park Community Garden Project. There is a meeting this Thursday from 4 to 6 for the neighborhood to come and discuss if they would like to have a community garden at that pocket park. I believe I'll pop over around 5 and to go, see what folks are talking about. And then we discussed a little bit about Arbor Day, celebration ideas. In a nutshell, and then Golf Advisory starts again tomorrow morning, so excited to wake up at 6 a.m. to get there myself. And that's it for my report, thank you.
Anyone else?
Oh, I just have one more thing I was gonna add. I was gonna announce the Red Cross is doing their Sound the Alarm event right now, and so you can contact them if you need fire alarms installed. They can give you training on like carbon monoxide, and they have a kind of a preparedness program and virtual presentations on their website. So.
Yeah, I attended the Southwest Colorado Council of Governments meeting on March 11th. We discussed the city council partnership with the fiber venture. We talked about the North Grant, the Montezuma Orchard Restoration Project, and they're requesting a grant for a storage building it's for $150,000. It's going to house a portable cider press. You can travel around to different orchards in Montezuma County and harvest the apples and squeeze the juice out of them and store it in this building. It'll be on Road 29. So we discussed the regional, a memo of understanding between the regional and housing study through 5 counties looking for affordable housing. Discussed an IT consultant for Southwest COG members, and see John Whitney, Governor Bennett's representative, discussed the Biden bill and mentioned that we would be getting direct aid of $1.87 million for Cortez. And one of the participants that we met was Helen Katich. She's Michael Bennett's staff member who's stationed in Durango. And she reached out to the Southwest COG to introduce herself and meet with representatives. I'm going to talk with her on Thursday, I believe, and we'll find out what Senator Bennett can do for Cortez. That's all I have for COG. On the workshop today, we had a presentation by Shelley Millsap, Behavioral Health Manager for Access Health System. We discussed the library expansion consideration update from Alicia Gomori Lusker from the library director position. We had a discussion on new business regarding the landscape maintenance bids with Dean Palmquist, Director of Parks and Rec. And we went into executive session for determining, we had discussion on the dispatch center contract, and we actually had 2 executive sessions on that. Are there any other comments, concerns? I would also like to reflect on the tragedy that happened yesterday in Boulder County, and our hearts and prayers and thoughts go out to all those affected, especially law enforcement and first responders. And it's a terrible tragedy, and we need to get beyond this and do better as a country. If there's no more comments or concerns, call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah.